I tried to convince people to slow down AI, to regulate AI. This was futile. I tried for years.
If AI has a goal and humanity just happens to be in the way, it will destroy humanity as a matter of course, without even thinking about it. No hard feelings. It's just like if we're building a road and an anthill happens to be in the way, we don't hate ants. We're just building a road, and so goodbye anthill.
So I think we should be cautious with AI. It's a danger to the public. So yeah, I'm going to start something which you call TruthGPT, or a maximum truth-seeking AI that tries to understand the nature of the universe. And I think this might be the best path to safety in the sense that an AI that cares about understanding the universe it is unlikely to annihilate humans because we are an interesting part of the universe. Hopefully, don't think that.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today I want to talk about TruthGPT. If you don't know, last week Elon Musk went and did a Tucker Carlson interview where he talks about starting a new company called TruthGPT. TruthGPT is play on the name ChatGPT, which is created by a company named OpenAI. Elon Musk was actually originally a founder and supporter of OpenAI, but he since left because he disagreed with the direction of the company and felt that the company was deviating from its original mission, which was to stay as an open source, unbiased provider of AI. If you don't know, ChatGPT is now heavily influenced by Microsoft, which is a big contributor to ChatGPT, and there's a lot of monetary and business ties between the two organizations now. So why is TruthGPT so important, and what is the significance of the name Truth in TruthGPT? Well, I think it's a really brilliant marketing tactic by Elon to call it TruthGPT, because that immediately contrasts ChatGPT with TruthGPT. And it makes his point so simply, which is that ChatGPT and the results from ChatGPT cannot be trusted. And I think this is a big issue that the human race is going to be facing in the next couple of years. You've all already experienced it, but the advent of AI could make this issue even bigger and set us back years. The issue with ChatGPT and AI responses as a whole is it's very difficult for humans to fact check that information. If you've ever used ChatGPT, you'll ask it a question, and instead of it providing different sources of that information, it'll just give you a response. And if you believe that the technology is correct, you could very blindly just believe what ChatGPT returns you. And you may not know, particularly if it's not a subject that you know a lot about, if that answer is accurate or not. You see this nowadays with the creation of the smartphone or the calculator. Before, mental math was a big part of our curriculum. It was important for our students to know how to do math by hand. But now that we have the aids of calculators, people do not need to do mental math as much. Everyone has a smartphone, and most smartphones have a calculator application. So probably the amount of people that can do mental math well and quickly over time has decreased. The same can be true about other information. For example, back then, encyclopedias and reading research papers and going to the library was much more important for doing research. But now that we have the internet, we can just go online, type in a search term, go to a couple websites and draw our conclusions about what the facts are. But ChatGPT is something that's going to sit even on top of that website layer, right? It's going to go to all the different websites, all the different information sources that it has access to, and it's going to synthesize what it thinks is the correct answer and just feed it to you. And if you're like most people, including me, you're probably not going to spend a lot of time to fact check that answer, which means that there's a huge amount of opportunity for ChatGPT to give you the wrong answer or feed you a biased answer, and it may doing that knowingly or unknowingly. Another alarming trend that we're seeing right now is the polarization of news and media, kind of the weaponization of information. We see this even in our political system, but definitely in our news outlets right now. The New York Times is more left-leaning and Fox News is more right-leaning. And they all bias their news and frame the news to suit their own agenda. I think that's a big contributor for why a lot of people have stopped paying attention to the news altogether and go to places like Twitter or YouTube to try and get information that's more unbiased and from the direct source. But ChatGPT threatens to obfuscate that and put an additional layer between you and the primary source of information. So TruthGPT is going to come in and hopefully be based more on research papers and unbiased factual documents and give you a direct answer that way. And I think that's incredibly important because if not for TruthGPT, ChatGPT may have unfiltered access for manipulating our beliefs. If you look back at history, there have been countless times where humans have been fooled by misinformation. Hitler and his crusade against Jews, where he was lying that the Holocaust was a necessary and good thing for humanity to participate in. The Salem witch trials, is another example where misinformation and lack of good information led to horrible outcomes. And of course, even in the US, we had Japanese concentration camps and slavery, which were not great times in our history in our past. But the big difference between all of these events and today is the fruition of the internet. Information is more accessible now than it has ever been. Videos can go viral, Twitter can reach millions of users, and basically anyone that wants to put up a video and share an idea can do that now. And they have the entire power of the internet to help them distribute that information to every corner of the world. So dangerous ideas like Hitler's ideas, are now much more powerful and could spread much more quickly and reach everyone. So our defenses of misinformation has not actually kept up with the pace of the distribution of information. I would argue that information is much more readily available to us. We have so many sound bites, so many videos, so many photos, so much information now, but we don't really have the same amount of tools or accessibility for doing fact checking as we did before. So it's really been a kind of asymmetric warfare between the deluge of information you're getting and your ability to fact check that information. And TruthGPT could be a really valuable step in helping us counterbalance that and push humanity back towards making sense and basing things based on facts and logic. I don't want to get too political, but definitely in the last couple of years, we've seen a lot of groupthink and a lot of availability bias for information. Groupthink is a phenomenon where people come up with a conclusion not based on actual facts or critical reasoning, but based just on the opinions of other people in the group. They don't want to upset other people, or they want to conform and feel like they're part of something. And in so doing, they forego truth and sound decisions for going along with what the group thinks. And that can be very dangerous. Could you imagine if Hitler had the power of social media today, how destructive his ideas could be today? TruthGPT, I think, is a really important, valuable step for humankind. And it could really help combat the era of kind of misinformation we've been in. The other big fallacy that we see a lot is availability bias, where politicians and, bad people that want to manipulate public opinion will repeat the same message over and over and over again. And just because you've heard of that idea or you heard of that fact, even if it's not true many, many times, you'll take it as truth just because you've heard of that idea. So availability bias is something that's very susceptible to social media and the current onslaught of media as well. People with an agenda and the power and money to influence media have the ability to repeat the same message over and over again so that the general population believes it. And that's availability heuristic, because based on what you hear, the information that you have readily access to you, that will influence your decision making and thoughts on what's true a lot more than the actual facts. And along with the fruition of the internet, unfortunately, we haven't been trained to go and look at the primary source. We take media outlets or big brands as truth, when in fact they probably have an agenda and have a motive for you believing a certain thing. With AI, I think we're on the cusp of a Cambrian explosion of false information. AI is going to empower the creation of information that sounds real, but is not grounded in fact. Things like deepfake videos where it looks like an actual person is saying something, but it's not them, it's all computer generated, are going to be a lot more prevalent and a lot more believable. And we need something to combat that. Could you imagine if we had a video of the Russian president saying on a particular day that he's going to launch a nuclear war? It could put the whole world in turmoil. And if we're not prepared and we don't have the ability to detect if that information is true or not, we could all be in a lot of trouble. So TruthGPT, I think, is hugely important. I support Elon, and I think it's a tool that we need to combat what is about to come. Please let me know what you think about TruthGPT in the comments below. And if you like this type of content, please like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks. Bye.